It's got the P14 all broken down. Go ahead and take a closer look at it. Definitely looks like a lot of finish underneath the wood and over the wood as well, especially on the receiver. I don't really see any pitting or issues here on the barrel. Aside from some minor dirt, the stock looks good too. Lots of finish on the internal parts, especially on the magazine. Inside of the floor plate. The outside looks pretty good too. Pretty happy with all these parts. I'll be taking apart the bolt here later as I clean it. Stock on the P14 looks pretty good. I don't see any cracks or any wood rot. Looking at the inside, you can definitely see kind of the early stages of some of the design for the number 4. They also included a screw here, help reinforce the stock. Looking at the other side, the stock looks pretty good. You can see the volley sight here. So start cleaning this, and I'll do a video of it once it's all cleaned up. So I got the P14 cleaned up. We'll take a closer look at all the parts. These parts look pretty good, especially the magazine. It's really clean. It's got a lot of its bluing left on it. Same with the receiver. It's got a pretty good amount of finish, as well as the barrel. Pretty much everywhere that wasn't exposed on this has really good finish. But even some of the exposed parts, I mean, I did boil and card some of these parts, and they did turn out pretty well. We have the trigger guard, looks good. Same with the floor plate. Did boil and card this as well. Butt plate still has some rust scale on it, so I'll let some oil do its work on that, but I get a lot of it off. It's pretty much covering it. Spring, firing pin, all the bolt parts look good. Did card this as well. It did bring back just a little bit of the finish. And then you got the volley sight. You got this piece here, which is the spring little lever for the bolt catch. Stock is looking good so far. You can still see it's got some dirt embedded in there, so I'm just trying to get to this point, so I'm just kind of working it out. Probably do a couple more runs of it before I put it all back together. As you can see here, the finish is starting to poke out and look really nice. I don't see any rot or cracks in the inlay. Looks pretty good. See, the volley sight looks pretty good too. So I'm finished cleaning up the stock, and then I'll reassemble it and show you how it all looks. So got the P14 reassembled. I'm gonna take a closer look at it. See, the butt plate still got a lot of that rust scale on it. It's just gonna take some time to get a lot of that off. See the marking in the disc here came out pretty well. And a lot of the grains starting to show through. Used to just be tons of dirt and grime. So it's going to take a while, but eventually this wood's going to clean up pretty well. You can see a cartouche here in the stock. Moving down the rifle. Safety works pretty well. See the serial number and the manufacturer mark for Remington. The bolt does not match the receiver and the serial number. You can see the floor plate, bottom of the trigger guard look good. Did do some carding on it. Basically just boiled the parts and carded it with some steel wool, and did return some of the finish. You can see the wood has still got some dirt on it and some grime, but it's definitely cleaning up nicely. It's just going to take some time to get it all out. Did remove the volley sight There's a screw here on the other side of it you can use to remove it. And then the muzzle, as well as the front band here to do a little bit of carding on it. Seems to have brought back some of the finish. We'll go ahead and flip it over. See, the other side of the buttstock looks good too. It's got a lot of dents and dings, but overall looks good. Looks like someone carved like a cross there. And the rear volley sight and the little lever here for removing the bolt look pretty good. Try putting some chalk in the markings here, but they're kind of shallow. But basically, these are more inspection stamps from the British. You see the front volley sight here. Cleaned it up so it does move. It used to just be frozen shut. It's going to take a little bit more oiling and cleaning to get it to move a little better, but it does at least work now. Basically the way it would work is you would set it to a specific distance here where that little arrow is, and then you would line up this front piece with the rear sight here. It's flipped up. You just basically line the two up. Moving forward in the rifle, and the finish looks good. It's just a lot of scratches and dents and dings in the stock. There's some little patches where you can see that there's still some grime, but underneath it looks like a really good finish. It's going to take some time. And on the other side here, you can see I did some carding, boiled the front band here, as well as this part of the barrel. You can see some of the finish is starting to be restored. And there's that Enfield style front sight blade. So overall, a pretty good buy from Wild Tiger Imports. Definitely recommend the P14, especially at the price that they're offering them. It's really hard to find them in the US, and the prices I've seen them around is much higher. We'll go ahead and take a look at the bore. You can see the bore is pretty good. Still pretty dirty. I've cleaned it quite a bit. I've put some boiling water down the bore. I've also run some bore solvent, as well as a lot of patches and a brush, and it's still pretty dirty. So I did a bore sneak as well. So I'm just going to keep at it. But the bore does look pretty promising. Doesn't seem to be a lot of wear, it's just dirty. If you're thinking about getting one of these, I'd recommend it. Definitely not getting any more numerous. And there was a limited number of years that they actually produced this rifle compared to some of the other Enfield variants. It does have a pretty smooth action on it as well. And I do like the cock-on close version of the Mauser action. So I should have another video coming out of the final rifle in that 5 rifle haul that I recently got. The number 1 Mark III from Ishapur. So you can look forward for that. I also have some collection videos out as well. So if you'd like to see those and get alerted, feel free to subscribe and turn on alerts. If you have any questions about the P14 in general or this specific rifle, feel free to drop them below in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.